Hey everyone, Matt from Singletracks here, and today I'm out on the 2021 Rocky Mountain Altitude. So Rocky Mountain just dropped this about a month and a half ago in August, and it's a full revision. So basically what they've done is consolidated the Instinct BC edition and the Altitude into one platform. So it makes a little bit more sense now. The Rocky Mountain Race Face team is now looks like they're using this for most of their racing, and the bike just sits right under the Slayer now. It's their second biggest bike. They've actually gotten rid of the Maiden downhill bike. Doesn't look like they're making it anymore. So now when you're looking at Rocky's page and you're looking at their bigger bikes, you'll see the Slayer is their biggest freeride bike. This Altitude sits right under it as their Enduro bike. So this one has 160 millimeters of rear travel and then a 170 millimeter fork. And so Rocky has several different builds. They're doing aluminum and carbon frames, which is great. This starts at 3,500 for a complete, and that's for the A30, so it's an aluminum frame. And they have a couple different aluminum options and a couple different carbon options. The one I'm on is the second to highest build. It's the rally build. And they have one level up SRAM axis. It's 10,000. This one sits at 9,100. This is $9,100 rally build. Well, it's basically modeled after what the Rocky Mountain Race Face team races with. It's Shimano XTR group set with 200 millimeter rotors front and rear, and then you get full Fox float Cashman coated suspension. This X2 shock in the rear, double down Maxxis tires, Minions front and rear. But Rocky also has a coil build option that sits right under this one. It'll save you a little bit of money. Oh, and I forgot to mention, also on this build, you get a Fox 38. When the one's under, will come with a Fox 36. So let's get a pretty plowy fork on here. So let's talk about climbing capability. This is a good section for it. This bike just really excels on this stuff. You just get a ton of traction. You know, part of that's the triple compound tires, but suspension too is really predictable through there without getting too deep, without pedal striking. It remains really efficient. And that's it. Balances traction, small bump compliance, and efficiency really well. The geometry stayed pretty conservative. Rocky doesn't really seem like the company that wants to break the internet with geometry every time they release a new bike. And it's pretty conservative out here. So in this neutral setting, you get 76 degree seat tube angle, 65 degree head tube angle. Gotta double check the reach number. I think it's 455. Not a super long bike if you're considering that this is an EWS bike and now also an EWS winning bike. It all works and feels really well together. So made it to the top, we're turned around, we're heading down. So another note on climbing and the geometry. At 76 degrees, it's obviously not the steepest seat tube angle. A lot more progressive angles out there, especially for climbing. But on this, I really just don't feel like it's that bad at all. I think it's plenty steep, and it doesn't make the cockpit feel too cramped either, which is really, really nice. So all in all, it's a pretty comfortable climbing position. extending since we're picking up some speed down here. Same thing with 65 degrees, not the most slack. You can obviously make that slacker, and you can make it steeper. These are all just in a neutral. But it feels really, really capable at 65 degrees. But one of the things I like about the bike so far, excuse me, is that it feels really, really low. Standover is really good. Standover is really good. Sits low without being too low and bottom. And what was I saying? It sits really low. Standover's great. Bottom bracket doesn't feel too low. You're not getting a ton of bottom bracket strikes, or excuse me, pedal strikes. Oh man, this section's fun. Took the words from me a little bit. This is also in the short chainstay setting, so you can add 10 millimeters of chainstay length and get even more stability out of this bike if you wanted to. The other thing that I've noticed about this bike, it's not the most playful one out there. It's kind of just get down to business. You know what I mean? It feels like an enduro race bike, where even I guess relevant to the bike, the Slayer felt like it had a little bit more personality and pop and play to it. Again, not a bad trait to have. It's just something you're using to get down to the hill as quickly as possible. Side note, how freaking sweet is it in Colorado right now? So I ended up taking about 2 clicks of low speed compression out of the rear and 1 up front. It's feeling a little bit smoother over this really chunky stuff. And that was from the base tune, so yeah, now it feels like I can float over this stuff a little bit more. A pretty decent acceleration from the pedals too, when you want to sprint a little bit. Feels like suspension wants to cooperate with you and propel you forward. Again, not everybody's gonna love these tires. They're the big sticky double down triple compound tires, and this one's actually got tubes in it. I just haven't felt like swapping them over. That's really all I've got for you on this altitude. It's definitely an enduro bike, but it climbs well. It's really not that heavy for a big enduro bike either. I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but yeah, this one's 33 pounds. That's with pedals and tubes inside, so it has potential to lighten it up. While these tires are heavy, boy, they stick to the ground. So that's the review. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't and you want to see more reviews. Check out singletracks.com for more mountain bike news and information, and have a good day.